OpenLine. We have with us Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams talking about his series of stories on the Remnant Fellowship. And we just played that first story, and that aired just here recently. But as it displayed, you've been following this for over 20 years.
Yeah.
So what brought you to that first story? Let's go back in time. How did that come about?
Yeah, 2001 was the first story. It was before 9/11. It was the earlier part of the year. Gwen Champlin had a Christian diet program called the Weigh Down Workshop. Weigh as in you get on the scales and weigh. And it was a very, very popular. It's hard to really look back and comprehend how popular it was. I mean, she would fill arenas. She was on CNN on Larry King's call-in show. She was on the Today Show. And it was a very popular Christian diet program that talked about, that partly, often our hungers, our overeating is caused by a hunger for something greater. And so she talked about, replacing a love for God for a love for food. And it was very successful. It was a program designed to be implemented with classes in churches. And I think at one point they had classes in like 30,000 churches across the country. But there was a lawsuit filed where employees of Weigh Down Workshop were told that they either had to join this new church that she was creating, the Remnant Fellowship, or lose their jobs. And so you had people who are Christians who really didn't believe in or share some of her beliefs. She has some very controversial beliefs for those who know Christian theology. She did not believe in the Trinity, which is a fundamental Christian concept. And so there were people saying, hey, we like working for the Weigh Down Workshop. We get what you're doing, but we're not going to join your church. And they were told, that's non-negotiable. So there was a lawsuit over that, which brought some attention to her that she had never received before, negative attention. And so we did stories about that. There was even part of that was looking at her beliefs, because she had tried to make it so simplistic that losing weight was a matter of faith. And medical professionals will tell you, it's often much more complicated than that. But she used the fact that she was a dietitian by training, but then she also had these, wacky notions of, if you wanted proof that her ideas were correct, all you had to do was look at the Holocaust. That when people ate less, they lost weight.
Wow.
And so, I confronted her.
I remember that. I do remember that. I remember that. Yeah, that she said that. That is amazing.
And so I confronted her with that, and she had her attorney in the room with us, and that story had a memorable ending because the attorney got up and literally picked her up and pushed her out of the room to end the interview.
And it's amazing that the son was there. Michael Champlin was there, and you go back to that. And at the time, you were considered the devil. You were the worst of the worst. And it is incredible that he would have come around to, you were a truth teller and doing the right thing and a hero. That's a remarkable transformation right there.
Yeah.
But when did you first, was that when there was thought this is a cult, or that's just when it was beginning and it was a cult? Those questions came even later.
Well, at that time, part of our coverage was there were families who were actually protesting outside the Weigh Down Workshop, which also became the home of Remnant Fellowship initially, before they built a very nice church in the heart of Brentwood. But there were families protesting because one of the things that Gwen Champlin really emphasized was you really needed, if you were becoming a member of Remnant, to separate yourself from the world, to separate yourself, even from families on occasion. And so that's when we first got the hints, picked up the criticisms from families that this was a cult. Cult For me, I don't throw that term around lightly because, a lot of people consider, a number of different denominations to be cults.
That can be something that's thrown around. Yeah, it can be thrown around a lot, just about church in general.
Exactly.
And you don't want to go down that without the appropriate...
And so in that case, I would say we reported that those criticisms were there, but certainly that was not the focus of those initial stories.
Very interesting. And I think this does kind of open up conversations about, what is a cult and how are people attracted to cults? What makes something a cult? We can certainly get into all that. One of the stories talked about how occasionally, just let's say a woman, they're married, they would go to this church and just, it's a nice woman who's reading from the Bible. And then the man is later trying to fight for his kids and his whole family. Like once you get sucked in, they then say, you need to be in community, and anybody that's not with us is not part of it, and that kind of thing.
And that would, in a number of occasions, that would mean divorcing your husband. The church would finance custody battles to keep the children, and so there was, a dark side of Remnant.
Let's take a call here. Let's go to Christian. Hello, Christian.
Yes, I just come on a little bit ago, listening to some of what y'all talking about. Don't know the parties that you're talking about, but I did listen to what y'all were saying, and you're talking about a cult. A cult could be both of you. Your own cult on a news media, they're taking you think you're correct in everything, and that's where it ought to be. And then you won't listen to somebody that tells the straight of the truth in that.
So all right, do you know what we're talking about? Do you know about Remnant Fellowship? If you don't know about what we're talking about, so you don't know what we're talking about.
I was listening to both of you, and I don't know the Remnant Fellowship that you're talking about, but I am a knowledgeable man. I'm a Christian, and the thing about it is, as for me, I'm an old authorized King James Bible reader, studier, believer. I read it. I don't interpret it. I take it for what it says, because it's the oldest history book in the world, basically, and the thing, in my perspective, and the thing about it is this. Think about what y'all were saying. Y'all can take, and as a media, you can hang me up, and people won't hear me no more, and you've done it in the past. And the thing about it is, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I have my perspectives of where I have to look at God and say, God, forgive me each and every day that I live, even though I'm a Christian.
All right, well, we'll talk about that. Okay.
But I think he is alluding to what you and I were just talking about. Is it's easy to throw around the word cult.
Right.
People look at Remnant Fellowship and say, okay, there's something different here from traditional churches. Let's fast forward to 2004. The next time we came and did an investigation, it involved the death of a remnant child, an 8-year-old boy. The parents were taking their cues on child rearing from Remnant Fellowship. And according to the police investigation, this child had, marks all over his body. The family had, it would come out, had locked him up in a small room for days at a time. And we, were able to find recordings where Gwen Shablin had praised the family for locking this child up in his bedroom for an entire weekend with just his Bible.
As if that's discipline. That's when this really kind of went into this other stratosphere.
Exactly.
When a child had died.
Right.
And there were questions about, was this being taught? And that's when this kind of really went into the other. That was 3 years later.
Yes, and there were lots of questionable things about that. The church does not believe in mental illness, is what we were told. That that in the case of this child, there was substantial evidence that this child needed medical intervention because he was not a well-behaved child, but he had lots of issues that were unaddressed because the church teaches you don't need medication, you don't need antidepressants, you don't need this medication or that medication, and instead they use these severe discipline techniques. And the police report said that the family was very defensive about what police observed with this child. They felt it was just part of discipline, and they were very defensive of their religion. Part of that initial round of stories was the fact that the remnant perceived Gwen Shamblin to be a prophet from God.
And she was asked about that.
And I asked her about that. I asked her during that interview, you're saying a lot of things about what Remnant does and does not believe. Do you think it's proper to lie for God's sake? And rather than telling me that, no, I would never lie to you, her answer was, well, if God calls you to, you better. And so this was, I've been, around religion my entire life, and this was fascinating.
Fascinating, yes. And okay, all right, we're going to take a break. And if you're on the line, hold on. If you want to call in, there's the number 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.